Hi friends, welcome to today's practice. Before we get started, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this page with anyone who you think will find it useful to their practice. For today's class, we are going to be focused on the Hollowback Pincha Mayurasana or Hollowback Forearm Balance. So Hollowback is a really interesting shape in the sense that it is great for opening up the shoulders, but it does require a level of glute strength, of adductor strength, and awareness. And for me, the most challenging part of this pose is not necessarily the shape itself, but it is the motion of being able to drop your gaze in between your arms and shoulders. Now, if you're not comfortable with holding your balance in a forearm stand just yet, please focus on that before moving on to the Hollowback shape. Now, what's really nice about the Hollowback shape as well is that it is going to make you more aware of where your body is in space. And usually for different kinds of variations of Pincha Mayurasana, I wouldn't encourage to do them with a wall in front of you. But in the case of forearm balance with a Hollowback shape, you can actually kick up into the shape and rest your butt and your legs against the wall. And just feel how that sensation feels. But for today's practice, we are going to be holding it in the middle of the room. Now, a couple of things to say before we get started is go slow. It's a lot of the temptation of yoga to be able to reach these so-called deeper shapes, but it's really important to just go slow, and you want to be able to breathe in the shape. If you can't find a natural breath, then leave it right away. You want to feel comfortable in your practice. You don't want to feel this level of fear and anxiety when you get into the shapes, right? Because yoga is really about bringing this level of swadhyaya, of self-practice, of self-study, and you want to be safe in your practice. And this is also going to require a level of shoulder strength. So if you haven't done my strengthening drills into Pincha Mayurasana, that is linked in the description below. Please go ahead and check that out because all of the strengthening drills there and the flow is going to translate into your Hollowback forearm balance. So let's get started. We are going to first use a block, and I encourage you to really use a block throughout your practice because the block really helps you in learning how to activate certain muscle groups to really get into some of these shapes. And how I like to use the block is, again, I like to frame the block with my palms squeezing in. The thumbs are pointing up towards the sky. Because if I were to take this shape in the traditional pose, if you feel your arm, you really don't feel any activation there. So placing your hands on the block with your thumbs pointing up, you notice how your arm is firing up all the way up to your shoulders. So a really nice way to enter the Hollowback shape is to create this version of which you come into dolphin pose and then you walk your feet closer in, kick up lightly, and you're going to squeeze one of your legs towards your chest, drop your gaze down, keep reaching with the top leg, and at the same time, you're pushing your chest through. Then from here, you're going to bring your legs closer towards each other, squeezing the thighs in, engaging the glutes, and sit your hips back. Let gravity do the work here. And then lower down whenever you're ready. So for all of our back bends, gluteal activation is key. We want to be able to squeeze the glutes in a way that it takes the pressure off of our low back. We don't want this movement coming too much from that lumbar spine. We want this movement to really come from the upper thoracic spine. So really focusing on opening up your shoulders, working on your shoulder mobility is really going to benefit you in finding the hollow back shape. So we're going to try that again, but this time using 2 different variations, or I like to use the variation with my hands turning into fists, because again, if you squeeze your arms together, you can feel your biceps really firing up. Whereas if I did it in the more traditional way, my arms aren't really firing up. But once you've built enough strength, you can do it in the traditional way. But for now, I really want you to focus on bringing your hands into fists or your hands into prayers. But I like my hands into fists because it creates a bigger base. And your foundation is going to be really important here. So your forearms, your biceps, your triceps, and your shoulders. So whenever you're ready, we're going to kick up into that thunderbolt-like shape. Remember to keep your glutes squeezed towards each other. As you kick up to it, begin to drop your gaze down. Really activating through pointing out through the feet. And pull your chest through. Breathe here. Then bring your legs together. Squeeze your glutes, sit your hips back. Maybe create this flamingo-like shape with your legs. Sit your hips back as you pull your chest through. Squeeze the thighs towards each other. Keep sitting the hips back. Maybe even straightening up the legs and seeing how that feels. Then slowly release. Again, the scariest part is always going to be dropping your gaze back and getting used to the idea of your chest and your hips creating that counterbalance for your body. So again, focus on your thoracic spine mobility. Focus on developing strength and awareness into the shoulders, into the forearms, into the biceps and triceps. And this is a really fun shape. So you don't want to feel any pain when you're exploring your yoga asana practice at all. So please, please, please go slow. Go nice and slow. And just listen to your body. If it feels bad on your body, just leave it. Who cares, you know? What's more important is how you feel about it and how you can find a sense of freedom into the shape. If you have any more questions, please drop them in the comment box below. And if you are looking to build more strength, mobility, and stability, please go ahead and click the link in the description box below. And it would be a great honor to get you there. Thank you so much for taking the time to show up and to be a part of your own process. I bow down to you and all of your efforts. Thank you for joining me.